For almost every living thing that has ever existed, a reflection is just another animal, a rival, a stranger, something on the other side of the water. And then, somewhere along the way, one creature looked at that shape and thought something no animal had ever thought. That's me. A mirror. Oh, almost everything about who I think I am starts like this. Mr. Epically Ordinary. Mr. Epically Ordinary. Wait, I'm doing it again. Standing at the mirror, looking at this face, and for one strange second, it doesn't feel like mine. It happens with photos too. I see a picture of myself and something is off. That's not how I look, but it is. The face in the photo and the face in the mirror aren't the same, and I can't tell which one is really me. So I started pulling on this thread, because I don't think this is really about mirrors, and almost nothing alive can recognize itself in a reflection. A dog sees another dog. A bird attacks the window. A fish sees a rival. To almost every creature on Earth, a reflection is just someone else. And honestly, that makes sense. Why would my own image mean anything to me? To know that the shape in the water is me, I first have to carry an idea that there is a me at all. But wait, how would anyone even test that? How do you ask an animal, do you know that's you? Turns out the trick is simple. You put a mark on its face, somewhere it can only see in a mirror. And if it reaches up and touches its own face, it knows. The reflection is me. A psychologist proved this could be measured back in the 70s, and the results are strange, and almost nothing passes, hardly anything at all. Great apes mostly. A handful of others are argued about. Even the people who study this still fight over which animals truly recognize themselves, and which ones are just reacting. But there's a detail in here I can't stop turning over. A few animals can learn to touch the mark, but the thing they don't do is get embarrassed. They don't freeze. They don't look away. They don't fix their hair. That part, the shame, the self-consciousness in front of our own face, seems to belong almost only to us. So somewhere in becoming human, we didn't just learn to recognize ourselves. We learned to judge what we saw. And the moment that began, probably had no mirror at all. The first mirror was almost certainly just still water, a quiet pool, no wind, and a face looking back. I keep trying to imagine being the first one. No idea what a reflection even is. Leaning over the water, and someone is already there, and slowly, the most disorienting thought a mind can have, that someone is me. But once that thought arrives, you can't put it down. So I went looking for the first time we tried to trap that reflection, to keep it, carry it with us. Oh, and it goes back further than I expected. Around 8,000 years ago, people were already polishing volcanic glass into mirrors, obsidian, black, glassy stone, ground patient and smooth, until it held a face. And then I found the part I can't shake. Some of the oldest ones we found weren't in kitchens or homes. They were in graves, buried with the dead, often with women, laid down with bright pigment. And we still don't really know why. A mirror that no living eye would ever use again. As if the reflection mattered, even after there was no one left to reflect. So we started chasing it. A better reflection, a truer face. For a long time, the clearest one money could buy was a sheet of polished metal, copper, then bronze, a bright disc you held in one hand. But here's the strange thing about those metal mirrors. They were dim, always a little dark, a little kind. They showed you a softer face than the real one. Maybe that's not such a small thing. For most of history, the only fully honest mirror was still a puddle. So what happened the day the softness disappeared. Then came the thing that changed how we see ourselves, literally. On a guarded island near Venice, about 5 centuries ago, someone learned to back clear glass with a thin layer of metal, and the reflection went sharp, bright, honest. But something shifted right here. Before that, a face in dark metal or moving water was always a little forgiving, a little yours, but a clear mirror shows something else. Not the face you feel from the inside, the face a stranger sees. For the first time, we could step outside ourselves and meet the version of us everyone else had been looking at all along. And people understood instantly how much that was worth. So they did something that still stops me. The ones who knew the secret were forbidden from ever leaving the island. And the ones who tried to slip away with it, some of them were poisoned. A piece of glass that showed a face, guarded like a weapon, which makes you wonder, who wanted it badly enough to pay that price? Oh, kings, it turned out. And they didn't just want a mirror. In a great palace in France, they built an entire hall of them. Hundreds of mirrors facing tall windows, wall after wall of reflection. Not to see a face. To show the world they could afford to. A single one of those mirrors could cost about as much as a ship. A reflection used to be free in any pond. Now it was among the most expensive things you could own. Listed in wills, written into dowries, the right to see your own face clearly had a price. And underneath it, something quieter. The clearer the mirror got, the less it let slide. The face staring back, a little more of a stranger. Every time the glass got better. And then, almost overnight, it broke open. A chemist found a way to coat glass with silver, cheap enough for anyone, and the mirror flooded out. Every wall, every hallway, every bag. What kings poisoned people to protect now sits in my pocket. Behind a dark screen, I check 100 times a day. And here's where I had to stop, because something was given to us, and something was quietly taken. For almost all of human history, a person barely saw their own face. A glimpse in water, a dim shape in metal, maybe a clear look a few times in a whole life. We lived inside our faces, and almost never watched them. And now, I see myself constantly. Mirrors, windows, black screens, a camera that shows my face mid-sentence. I know the exact angle of my own smile, the way a stranger would. And that's the trade. The mirror gave us the power to know our own face, and it taught us to step outside ourselves and watch it from the outside. Those animals stay with me. The few that know themselves, but never feel ashamed. They see the mark, and they just don't care. We do. More than almost anything, and once a mind learns to watch itself, it can never fully stop. So I come back to that face in the glass. Mine. And not quite mine. And I finally understand the strange feeling. The face I picture in my head and the face in the mirror were never the same thing. One is who I feel like. The other is who I'm seen as. And I've spent my whole life quietly trying to make them match. Not a fact. Not a statistic. Just a question I'm keeping with me. Next time a face gets fixed in the mirror before walking out the door, face we settle on. Did we choose it? Or were we taught it? Oh, and one more thing snagged on me this week. Everything around me is held together by something I never look at. The chair, the wall, the floor under my feet, all of it, resting on one small thing nobody thanks. I think I have to follow that one next. If you write what you think down below, I'll read it. I read all of them, because the best questions tend to come from there. Turns out there's a whole channel that does just this. Snags on an ordinary thing and follows it as far as it goes. Mr. Epically Ordinary. Which is basically what my head does anyway. So I think I'll stick around. Maybe you will too. Take care of yourselves. And tomorrow morning, reading that face again, maybe it's worth a second to ask, am I looking at myself or at the person I learned to show?